Hello, thank you for joining us on Platform. It's a brand new year and there's a whole lot to talk about on Platform. But I welcome you. My name is Ruth Aguele, and something critical we want to look at today is the reforms in the public and civil service sector. Reforms in the public and civil service, is a deliberate action to improve the efficiency, effectiveness, professionalism, and democratic character of the civil service, with a view to promote better delivery of public goods and services, with transparency, of course, and accountability. Now, for good governance to thrive effectively, it requires a machinery of government that presents and transforms the intention of the government to the people in the form of policy formulation and implementation that impacts on the lives of citizens. To also promote organizational restructuring, improve human resource management and training, enhance pay and benefits while assuring sustainability, even with physical constraints. Now, this is part of the reason the Bureau of Public Service Reform was established to initiate, coordinate, and ensure full implementation of government's reforms, policies, and programs, among others. Part of its mandate is to strengthen measures for performance management, public participation, and combat corruption. But you ask, how effective has the Bureau been in actualizing its full potential of implementation of reform policies and programs amongst ministries, departments, and agencies? Our focus on Platform is public service reforms, the gains and prospect, especially as we just began a new year. Our guest is Mr. Dasuki Arabi, the Director General, Bureau of Public Service Reforms. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having us.
Should I say Happy New Year to you?
Happy New Year to you and to everybody that is with us and our viewers.
Okay, we have a lot to talk about. It's a brand new year. We'll look at the reforms in the public sector. All right, so let's take you through the profile of Mr. Dasuki Arabi, who was appointed DG of the Bureau in 2019. Now, he led the EU support to federal governance reforms. Mr. Arabi holds a Bachelor's of Arts degree in Public Administration from Ahmadu Bello University, postgraduate diploma in management, Master of Science degree in Business Administration from Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto. He's a fellow of different important bodies. In 2019, he was awarded Public Service of the Year by Business Day Media. Mr. Arabi is an administrator and he has attended various training programs, both home and abroad, on reforming public service. That's just the much you know about our guests for now. Thank you once again for joining us. And we have a panelist. All right, we have a panelist, one of the regular faces on Platform. Adebola, it's good to see you in this brand new year.
Thank you. I'm happy I crossed over from 2022 to 2023. I pray it's going to be a better year for us.
It's going to be a beautiful year for us all, by the grace of God.
Amen.
All right. Mr. Arabi, we're looking at public service reforms, the gains, the prospect. 2022 no doubt played a whole lot when we're talking public service reforms. Now, sometime back, should I say it's a year now, you were on this same platform and you talked about, the strategies the Bureau wants to put in place to ensure, reforms in the public service. Now, looking back, if you want to look at the gains, for the year 2022, how did Nigeria fare, especially with the MDAs?
Well, thank you very much for having us and for having confidence in us and for being part of this team that is driving the transformation of Nigerian public service. Before I delve on this, I want to celebrate the newest baby of public service reforms 2023, which is the launching of the HR leg of IPPIS. Now, with the launching of the HR leg of IPPIS, we'll be able to do quite a number of things as public servants from the comfort of our offices without writing with paper or biro for anything, something like leave. You can sit in the comfort of your home, apply for leave, and electronically approval will be given to you and you proceed on your leave. IPPIS has two legs, the human resource leg and the finance leg, which is for the payment of salaries, allowances of public servants, which has been on since 2007, 2008. 2023, we're into the HR leg of it. Now, with the launching of the HR leg, we'll be able to do quite a number of things without physically meeting ourselves. Now, this is going further to consolidate the success of the reforms that we have been carrying on over a long time. I want to look at Nigerian public service in public service reforms 2022 as a wonderful year for us. In the Bureau, we've been able to deploy what we call self-assessment tool in quite a number of ministries, departments, and agencies of government. And we had this opportunity where permanent secretaries and ministers were asking us to come and deploy this tool in their ministry to see how strong they are and what are their challenges and problems. And we'll be able to identify quite a number of problems and quite a number of successes. You know, I told you when we came the other time that we're building blocks for transforming Nigerian public service to be among the first 20 in the world by the year 2025. With that exercise, we'll be able to identify a number of agencies that have reached that level. What we are just going to do in this year 2023 is to get additional agencies uplifted, upgraded, so that we have more building blocks that we can just cement and take ourselves to that. Now, if we look at public service reforms 2023, we have recorded a number of successes in digital transformation of the public service. You know, Nigeria has an approved e-government master plan. Beyond that master plan is us. Because you can have the best of plans, but if you don't have people that will implement it, it's nothing. If you don't have the facilities, infrastructure to deploy, you cannot do that.
And Mr. Dasuki, if I recall, early last year, the Bureau planned to train 500,000 civil servants on the digitization. That's the e-government master plan. You know, on digitization and information technology in partnership with U.S. government and private sector. Yes. Was that achieved? Because if we're talking the e-government plan, which is very, very important going forward, if we want to adapt modernization.
Yes, that program is not for only public servants, it's for Nigerians.
Okay.
And the structure of it is we are going to go to every state of the Federation. And you know, if you remember again, I told you that while we initiate, others implement. In the process of implementing, we bring ministries, departments, and agencies of government to do that. We have done the first batch of introduction of the training, and we have trained about 200 public servants at the central level. Because of COVID and some challenges, the source of funding was no longer coming the way we expected it to come. So we couldn't go beyond that. Okay. But working with the Ministry of Digital Economy, we have just signed an agreement between Nigeria and Microsoft to train more than 500,000 public servants. So
we're looking at that happening in this year?
Yeah. So we'll continue with the ones we are doing with the U.S. government and the private sector on the 500,000, while pushing the new one that has just, the new baby that has just joined the train. The interesting thing is development partners, civil society are interested in helping Nigerian public servants to upskill and upgrade themselves so that we'll be able to use IT properly and be able to improve the quality of service that we provide to Nigerians.
Okay, Mr. DG, let me just ask you this. We're looking at the level of collaboration. Are you working alone at the federal level, or we have states that are already key into what you are doing? If you are doing it well, I believe states want to join. Do we have states at all?
Yes, many years ago, Lagos state government joined us, and we worked with them. The public service in Lagos state was reformed, and they created an agency that is called the Down Commission. Now, the Down Commission is working, monitoring the reforms in Lagos state and helping other states' public services in the southwest to improve themselves. Now, I'm glad to inform you that working with the Down Commission, working in line with the directives of the President for us to work with the states. Now, if we are celebrating the success of reforming public service just at the federal, the states and local governments have not keyed in, then we are not anywhere. So we are spending quite a lot of time, energy, and resources to get the states to key in. And we are glad to say that the newest baby of on the train is Ogun State government, who have
so you have two babies now.
Yes, they have established their own Bureau of Public Service reforms. They have come in 2022 on study tour to us, and we've taken them around to induct them and see what they are doing. So we are really working together with them. Beyond that, Kaduna State have established their own Bureau of Public Service reforms. And the interesting part of it is any state that introduced these reforms, you can physically see the impact of these reforms in the state. You remember His Excellency Governor Erufai said, with or without national allocation, he can pay his salaries. This is true because he's able to improve his internally generated revenue through the introduction of reforms around public financial management. Another baby of the reform cycle is Gombe State Bureau of Public Service Reform. Wow. So we have 4 babies now in the train, and we're hoping that we will get more to join us.
Okay, before Ruth comes in, let me ask. One thing is to create or establish, another is to monitor, evaluate. Let's look at what you've done, or can you just take us through what you've done in terms of monitoring and evaluating the level of compliance, talking about reforms at the federal and these new babies you have in the states?
Okay. At the federal, we have an M&E framework that is being used to monitor the success of the reform initiatives. At the end of every 3 years, we produce what we call Compendium of Public Service Reforms, which is an output of the M&E report that we're getting. And from what we are seeing, we are on the right track. Everybody within the public sector.
2022 with 2023.
Yes, we are on track, and we are hoping that with this additional facility of IT, we will definitely be doing far better than 2022 in 2023. Now, in the States, we have the plan to visit Gombe State, 3rd week of this January 2023, to have a retreat organized between Bureau of Public Service Reforms Gombe, Abuja, and the state government to see what they have done. But those of us that are within the reform cycle can feel the impact of reforms in these states. Virtually all of them have digitalized their public financial management. They have improved their internally generated revenue. They are using IPPIs to pay their staff salaries. Some of them have even gone beyond us to say, if you are coming to work, you must come in and clock electronically, clock when you are closing. So, and we have seen additional interest by development partners and World Bank to work with these key 4 states that have introduced reforms just the way we have done at the federal level.
Okay, let's look at capacity and performance of MDAs for the year 2022. I know the Bureau, awarded the Nigerian Ports Authority as level 5 platinum. And if you want to tell us how you get to track the performances of MDAs in terms of quality service delivery, how does the Bureau get to that assessment of, saying, okay, this particular ministry or department or particular parastatal has performed optimally well?
The key indicators or what?
Yes.
Okay.
How do you come about that?
Okay. We have, over the time, created a tool that we call self-assessment tool.
Yes, you mentioned that.
Yes, which is an IT-based tool. And you remember I told you that we are going to deploy in 2022 in ministries.
2023?
In 2022,
okay,
which we did. And quite a number of them came up with wonderful results. While some came with high-flying colors, with platinum as their award, there are others that did not get that. Now, which is an indication that some are doing well and some are not doing well. And you remember I told you early 2022 when I came that the essence of introducing that is not to shame and disgrace, but to identify performance and celebrate them. And to whom much is given, much is expected. So our searchlights will be more on them, because they perform and we want them to remain there. Those that have not performed, to see how we can help them to uplift themselves. And I must tell you that we have worked around quite a number of agencies of government that are really doing well now as a result of this intervention. Now, the self-assessment tool has a lot of criteria, which are looking at some international best practices, what is obtained in other countries. Do you have a performance management system in your agency? Do you have a human resource development policy? Do you have health policy for your staff? Are you providing the best IT tools, hardware and software for your staff? Are your staff comfortable and happy to work within the environment that you are operating? Have you adopted additional IT tools to improve the way you deliver service?
So the Bureau does all the monitoring?
Yeah. Now, no, we deploy this in the agencies. We guide them, they assess themselves. That is why we call it self-assessment.
How do you verify that is the right
now
score?
we have
to assess
now
myself,
if we are going to assess you, we are going to divide the team. We are going to have 3 teams: top management, middle and low, and all of them will go through the system individually, that means as a team. Then after that, we'll bring the 3 groups together to say health policy. Top management said you're excellent, middle level said not excellent, the other one said very poor. Now you take not excellent, very poor, average, and that gives you that score. Now at the end of everything, we go back to verify. If you say you have a human resource development policy, can you please show us?
Does the Bureau does the Bureau send in external body to come verify?
Yeah, no, we verify, and as we're working with a team of civil society groups and some people from the private sector who are authenticating what we are saying. So what you claim you have, we go there, is not there, we remove it from there. And you lose some marks from that. It's quite an objective exercise, and we have initially, when we started, a lot of agencies were against it. They thought we would be coming to disgrace them, but now we see them knocking at our door.
Yeah, because in a way it will promote transparency and accountability. So it's up to you as an MDA, you know, to be just with your assessment. Adebola wants to pick up with a follow-up question, but there's something you said sometime last year, and I want to quote it. You said public services all across the world have always been constrained by the reform imperative of modernization to achieve an institution vitality and readiness capable of confronting any present or future administrative challenges.
Record keeper.
You know why I brought this up? Because you make the efforts, the process of, you know, tracking and assessment seamless.
Yes.
But you yourself, you've stated that, you know, it's not a seamless process. There are challenges, there are bottlenecks. So what were the challenges, you know, the Bureau
well, the first challenge we face is funding. Because the circular we got the approval by the president through the SGF is for us to deploy that tool in every ministry, department and agency of government. When you look at that, the magnitude is quite large, and it's a lot of resources which we didn't have in 2022. Though we had some support from outside to help us deploy, but it was just not coming the way we thought it was going to have. That was one. The second one was some of the agencies were not willing to respond to us and open up. Until when we started releasing results, and they saw that it was an objective exercise, then they started asking us to come. One other problem we've seen is the lack of interest by staff of some agencies to key into that process so that they make it seamless, as you said, and to make it vibrant. But with the campaigns we are doing, with the results we are releasing, that is showing some people are doing, some agencies are doing well, others are not doing, we are overcoming some of the problems and the challenges that we've seen. But you know, the system is dynamic. It's unfolding, it's changing every day. And those working in agencies, the ministries, departments, should be ready for that, to understand that this studio that was like this, that is like this today, January 2023, 2024 may not be the same. We may not be using the same type of cameras and lighting. Things will change, so we need to get ourselves ready for change. That is why we emphasize the issue of human resource policy, and along that, the issue of capacity development, skilling and upskilling of performance of staff of ministries, departments and agencies of government.
Okay, let me quickly come in now, Ruth. I know better working condition, improved welfare. Yes, sure, they are motivating or motivational factor. Does this your reform covers that? Are you looking into this at all?
Well, if you've
seen people complain, at least I've seen public servants especially complain about welfare, better working condition. Are you not looking in that direction?
Well,
those directions?
Well, we've been looking at that. In 2022, if you remember, the Office of Minister of FCT, working with the SGF and the head of service, commissioned process or program for renovating complex of secretariats of government. We have started with phase 1 of the Federal Secretariat, which is part of the effort to make the environment comfortable and good for all public servants. And this will cascade to all the secretariats that we have, ministries, departments and agencies of government. And the revised public service rule, you've seen there was a jump in our allowances, especially those of us that are privileged to travel.
You're speaking, you are also smiling. Should I doubt you?
No. I'm smiling because of the successes that we have. Yes, we have recorded. Now, the allowances have been jacked up. Yes, for every public servant, if you are traveling, you know your DTA has been upgraded now. Yes, so that is part of it. It may be small, but it's part of the
process.
Yes, or process of moving in a pace mill. And 2022, the president has constituted a committee to review salaries of public servants and to see how we can reduce the gap between salaries of civil servants and public servants.
You know,
along that line, we have adopted a reward and recognition of excellence within the public service. Some civil servants last year won cars, some won motorcycles, some won televisions, some freezers. These are all efforts of government to make to give public servants sense of belonging and to tell them that government appreciates what they're doing. And beyond that appreciation, something is given to them. And what we are even pushing forward for government to do is to stop the monetary reward.
Okay.
Yes, but to say, if you're an accountant that you've done well, how can government sponsor you to become, to pay your fees and you become a chartered accountant?
Wow.
If you're an IT staff, how can government push you to do your professional examinations and have professional skills in addition to what you have? So a lot is being done around the welfare of public servants, which we are advocating. Yes.
I want to come in to this welfare issue. I know there's so much you're strategizing, the Bureau, to ensure that the welfare of civil servants, public servants are well taken care of.
Yes.
But it is still glaring that some MDAs, when it comes to salaries and allowances, they're not at par. Has the Bureau put that into consideration as part of your review?
Okay, let me take you back to history. What is the essence of creating an agency? The essence of creating an agency is for government to facilitate the deployment of some of its policies out of the main bureaucracy so that there will be quicker deployment, execution of the project or program, and quicker results will be seen. Now, to get those people together, you need to provide some incentives for them to be able to function optimally at their best. That is one of the reasons why agencies of government are created, to support ministries. Now, this has happened over a very long time. If you look at the history of the salary of public civil servants, from 1939. There have been a lot of reviews of the salary and improvements, but only that it has not gone to that level of what we have in the agencies. And that is one of the reasons why the government constituted that committee, to look at the difference between salaries of civil servants and public servants, and to see how we can reduce the gap to bring them
so that's
closer.
part of the review.
Yes,
now, that's civil servants will be smiling too.
Yes.
This
not only civil servants, all Nigerians,
okay.
because once the workforce is well taken care of, we get the best out of them.
Productivity increases.
Yes.
Okay. Adebola, you wanted to come?
I want to ask if you would like to talk about this committee you were factored in, talking about you as a secretary. You know what I'm talking about, the Orosaye thing. It's still part of welfare. Some civil servants are still afraid of losing their jobs, or some are even breadwinners, So can you just tell us where we are talking about this reform in that regard?
Well, I just as I said, we should pay less attention to Orosaye report, but look at the other reforms that government is doing that is adding value. There is adding value to public service, adding value to the life of the common man on the street, through the various reforms that we have initiated. When you look at the startup law that came into, which was in 2022, to support young Nigerians with IT skills and to see how we can get them on board. It's a wonderful reform initiative that very few people are talking about that. Now, Orosaye, 3 committees were constituted in 2022. They've submitted their reports. The secretary to the government of the federation is the chairman.
Okay.
And we expect to hear from him.
Let me hold your thoughts.
Orosaye did not say that somebody should...
Mr. Arabi, we will definitely pick up. I know you're passionate about this section, and I also have a follow-up question to that. So let's take this break. We'll definitely pick up with that conversation.
Sees that the Buhari-led administration has made remarkable progress,
like Lafia Transmission Station nearing completion.
Africa does not need charity, but partnerships that will promote the adequate investment
with the cooperation of all.
Sharing firsthand the experiences of reporters on the field as they bring to you weekly the beauty of Nigeria's diverse culture and the economic potentials therein. The Correspondents, development through the eye of the grassroots, showing every Monday at 1:30 p.m. on the network service of the NTA, with a repeat broadcast on NTA News 24 and NTA International. Join us.
Now, what could make someone set out on a journey and not get to his or her destination?
Extremely important.
Imagine a victim who cannot reach out to these responders, who doesn't even have the phone to reach out. Hello, thank you very much for joining us on platform. I'm Ruth Aguela.
And the girl, especially if the girl is a minor, she's not yet 18 years, if she gets pregnant, realize that such girl is sent out of school and the boy is left in school.
Just park to pick the call.
So how much sensitization is the FRS?
I don't agree. A lot of people are just deaf.
Thanks for staying tuned. We're still looking at public service reforms, the gains and the prospects. Now, Mr. Arabi, before we took that break, you were giving us a strong argument about the Orosaye's report. You were telling us why we shouldn't pay so much attention to it.
Yes.
And, you know, after the presentation to the federal government, talking about the draft white paper, the whole aim of the Orosaye's report is to restructure and rationalize the federal parastatals, ministries and, you know, commissions. So why shouldn't we pay attention to it? You want to tell us why?
Well, I want you to be patient with the government. Okay. The committees have submitted their reports. The chairman, who is the secretary to the government, is working through the Federal Executive Council to communicate the final decision of government. So I don't want us, because of the multiply effects of whatever decision will come out of it, I want us to allow it lie low until when we hear from them. Bomb? No, it doesn't make it a time bomb. Yes, I think it's going to be a very soft additional reform that will come. Not a time bomb. Assurance. Yes.
Okay, so while we put that aside, talk to us about the capacity, of MDAs based on your review for the year 2022. Do you think MDAs, have the requisite know-how and capacity, to be at par with international practices?
Well, that is a very interesting question, and that is an area of interest to us. That's why we do a lot of capacity development programs for public servants. And Pillar 4 of the National Strategy on Public Service Reforms is looking at specialized capacity development program. I don't know whether staff of NTA have gone for Smart P and Lead P training programs that have been run by the Office of the Head of Civil Service of the Federation. Now, this is just to tell you that we have noticed we have some deficits and we need to address that. So aggressively, government is looking at reskilling and upskilling the performance of public servants through aggressive trainings, which have been going on. We've identified quite a lot of talents, a lot of champions. As I've always been saying, that some of the best and the most brilliant Nigerians are in the public service. And through these programs, we'll be able to see them. So collectively, we are working to upgrade. Certainly, and I know everybody knows that the skill is not the same. There's skill gap, and that's why every 2 years our agency does what we call skill gap analysis to see what are the shortcomings, where are the areas that we need to get people to improve. When it comes to dissemination of information, you know that the information officer in the ministry should go beyond writing press release, because new media is there for him to provide information, to interact with. Do they have the capacity to do that? And that is why that 500,000 training on IT skill is very important and relevant to Nigeria.
500,000, the numbers compared to the number of civil servants and public servants in the country, the ratio.
Well, when you train 2 people in NTA, they can come and train others.
Okay.
And when I was coming in, I saw the IT training facility of NIDA that is here.
Yes, so has been ongoing.
We have this in almost every ministry, department and agency of government, just to accelerate the transformation and to see that we have an IT hands that will be able to work with us on these strategies.
Okay, now let's look at one sensitive area. I actually don't want to talk about it. You call it a succession plan. I want to call it generational transfer. What are you doing about this so that, you said at a point, some of us will not be fit for what will come, but there's still this gap of generational transfer.
Well, thank you very much. That is one of our takeaways for 2022. It's part of the things that we have, part of the reforms that we have introduced: succession planning, mentorship, and performance management. We're trying to see that there is improvement in quality of service delivery. There is justification in the monies being expended on us, and there is confidence building between us and the public. But within us, we have identified the shortage of skilled manpower, and that. So that is why these 3 things have been institutionalized. In 2022, we had Executive Order number 12, introducing the performance management and getting it deployed with speed of jet, which we are doing. Succession planning and mentorship have been adopted. They become part of the revised public service rule. It is compulsory for every ministry, department, and agency of government to introduce succession planning and mentorship, so that the senior ones would handhold the junior ones with the skills and everything that they need to take over from them, so that we stop this process where somebody will retire and they will say nobody will be able to take over from him. He has to be engaged on contract for 2, 3, 6 months to train others. As you are working, you are expected to train. As you are working, you are expected to mentor. So we have come up with publications in BPSR. One is introduction of performance management. What do you need to do to introduce that? Succession planning, how it works, mentorship. These are all service improvement tools that we publish from time to time. They are on our website, and we have the hard copies. If you want, you can come and pick them up.
I'll be glad to have
yes, to see how we can. Yes.
Okay, and what you've just shared with us is highly commendable, talking about the succession plan. Now, repositioning MDAs requires a lot of commitment. When there are recommendations like this, good recommendations, is there compliance? And how does the Bureau monitor this compliance from the MDAs?
Well, we have seen a leadership that is taking everybody around public service delivery in Nigeria. And once these policies are introduced, they're adopted by the Federal Executive Council, approvals are given, circulars are issued. We've seen permanent secretaries, head of ministry agencies driving these reform initiatives almost automatically. You cannot resist somebody that employed you say, this is how I want you to do it. You don't have any option. You either do it or you say, no, I can't do this. I want to step aside. So we have seen the interest, the zeal in workers to adopt these reforms and changes that are coming up. Only that we need to improve their skills so that they understand the benefits, and we have seamless transition into those sectors.
Is the Bureau satisfied with that level of compliance? That's the question. Is the Bureau satisfied with it?
Well, you know, the most difficult thing that you drive is change.
Okay.
If you are driving change, nobody likes you. Nobody welcomes you. Because you are knocking to say, I want to get out of your bed at 12 midnight. We want to do your bed. We want to clean the place. Well, if you are the type that will say, yes, please come on. And somebody will say, come and do it in the morning, or come tomorrow. I'll be traveling there. Come and do that. So we have seen quite a number of problems and issues in reforming agencies, ministries, departments, and agencies of government. But the leadership, they must commend the president, the vice president, the National Assembly, especially their leadership, secretary to the government, head of service, for working together and pushing these reform initiatives as policies of government that must be implemented. And we have seen permanent secretaries, as I said, and heads of agencies keen into those reform initiatives. There are some times where people will resist, but they have come in such a way you either do them or you not be able to work.
Okay.
When we say IPPIS, it is there. Treasury single account, it is there. You either pay all your monies into TSA or you cannot operate. You have workers in your ministry or agency. The government says we have introduced IPPIS. All salaries must be paid on the platform. You either do that or you find another way to
get
pay
paid.
them. Yeah, so we have introduced performance management. One of the few things that we've done is you want to apply for a leave, you don't put on paper and say, I'm doing that. You must do it electronically. So you write on paper, nobody will accept it. You go on leave without approval, or you do what is expected.
For this leave, applying for the leave,
yes.
What is the level of acceptance by the MDAs?
It's one of this is the latest baby of reforms 2023.
Okay, so it's not been launched properly?
Yes,
Okay.
but it's one of the things that we'll be doing going forward on the HR leg of IPPIS.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about still monitoring and evaluation. Have you been able to conduct any form of perception survey? If yes, do you have results, and how effective?
Yes, we have.
Talking about service
every year we do perception surveys and impact assessments.
2022?
Yes, 2022 we've done about 3 the results are not yet out.
Okay.
Yes, but some of the feelers that we have from the report is lack of awareness of the reform initiatives, lack of buy-in, rejection, and calling for more reforms to be implemented at a faster rate. These are some of the things that we are seeing from the work we are doing. Because if you ask somebody, there have been reforms around public financial management, they say, so what? What is that? What are you talking about? What is public financial? So that is why the Bureau, working with the EU and other development partners, have been running a lot of capacity development for information officers so that we'll be able to provide information to citizens. And you can see that of recent, when the Minister of Works and Housing said Second Niger Bridge is completed, it generated a lot of information. Was he supposed to make that information available? That breaking news? No. Others working within the ministry are supposed to do that. So we need to escalate level of engagement between the media, the heads of information or departments of information, and the citizens.
And you are getting that from NTA.
Yes, the citizens are hungry for information. They want to know what is happening. They want to be part of the process and part of the program. And that's why we are celebrating the engagements that we had with the civil society groups in 2022, bringing them closer to government under OGP and FOI to participate in governance directly and indirectly. And we have formed quite a number of forums with civil society to work around service delivery, checkmate us and make us to get out of comfort zones. Now NTA, we have to commend NTA for the wonderful work they've been doing. With or without invitation, I have an NTA staff stationed in BPSR to cover my events. And by 9 o'clock, somebody will be calling me from Badagry that you did this program. I saw it on television. So we have seen this in almost all ministries, departments, and agencies of government, the efforts of NTA to provide secure information and provide that to citizens. We must commend NTA for that. And we'll encourage ministries, departments, and agencies of government to make the relationship smoother and better by encouraging this engagement to go beyond this and see how we can make it comfortable and seamless for NTA staff to work with us so that we provide this information that Nigerians are crying for.
Thank you for that commendation, for the NTA. And part of the awareness issue you were raising is of big concern because there are a lot of policies formulated day in, day out by different MDAs. Even the reforms you're coming out with are all in policies. Draft paper, and the implementation requires effective dissemination of this information. Now, what's the strategy the Bureau is going to adapt, this new year, to ensure that there is full compliance of implementation by the MDAs so that these reforms are implemented and they're not just mere documents?
Well, thank you. As I said, you don't have any option. Once a reform initiative is introduced, you either do it, join the wagon, or you fall by the side. That is just the way out of it. Others that are not policies, we are going to be more aggressive in getting MDAs to key into it. And as I said, we have the support of the leadership to push that, and we're doing that. And we're happy with the work we're doing around digitalization of work, because there's a vision which is to get public service by 2030 to be paperless, 100%. And yes, and we're looking at that. So once they say now promotion letters and circulars are no longer issued in paper, but you get them on the website. It is left for you. You either go to the website and see,
and check.
yes, and check, or you remain where you were. Yes, you'll be forced to do that. So, but we know there are challenges, there are problems, and these are things that we've been driving over a very long time, and we are glad to say that we have seen quite a number of progress, a lot of improvements around that.
Okay, Adebola?
Yeah, my challenge or my fear now is this reform rejection. What do you think you can do differently to make people accept reform?
Still part of awareness.
Well,
Yes.
number one, that is why when we deploy self-assessment tool, we make sure that the media covers the event, so that if you are doing well, we celebrate you and the whole world sees that. If you are not doing well, we see it and we say it there, and the whole world is saying that. And we send a report to the Executive Council through the SGF and to the National Council of Reforms through the SGF. And there you will be shame and disgrace for not doing the right thing. But I think we need to, as heads of agencies, ministries, departments and agencies, to see how we can encourage our staff with a lot of initiatives, support and incentives to get them to key into this.
We're already smiling too. When you talk about incentive, I'm smiling.
Yes, because you also, the self-assessment tool, which is an important baby of the Bureau.
Yes.
Has it been properly deployed to all the MDAs, or is just certain MDAs selected from now? It's a gradual process.
Well, the circular directs every
I'm asking
MDA.
because NTAs too, you should have that.
Yeah, the circular says every MDA should pass through.
Okay.
We have done quite a lot in 2022, and we are going to be more aggressive in 2023. So before the end of this first quarter, we'll be coming to NTA and other agencies under Ministry of Information and Culture. And because we have added some value into it, we have added some IT steps into it, so the deployment process is going to be faster than what we have done. So our target is to make sure that this year we cover every ministry, department and agency of government.
Okay, it's a brand new year and there are a lot of expectations usually when the year begins. If you want to look at projections for the year 2023, aside some of the new strategies that you've shared with us, what's the projection? Because we're rounding off this conversation, 2023 and beyond. We have the elections, just around the corner.
Well, thank you very much. I'm not looking at 2023. I'm looking at 2025.
Good.
Which is our target of pushing Nigerian public service to be among the first 20 in the world. And we are going to accelerate the rate of transformation, deployment, just like Mr. Ademola has said. What else can we do to cushion the effects of rejection and get people to buy into it, whether they like it or they don't like it, because it is yes, it's just the way to go, and we must just do it if we want to survive as a government, as a nation, as citizens of a nation. And the National Strategy on Public Service Reforms has a yearly projection of what we are going to do, and this phase we are getting to almost the stabilization level. So we'll work on the e-government master plan, the shared facilities that have been launched, to see how we can facilitate deployment of IT into public service delivery, adoption of artificial intelligence and blockchain technology in the public service, to see how we can get to that paperless position by the year 2030.
Okay.
But I would like...
One last word from you, because we're out of time. Go ahead.
Well, one last message I have for our viewers is reforms are meant to be adopted and implemented. The end result of it is the citizen of the country who is hungrily waiting for information and to see the transformation, the result of the work we're doing in changing his life, solving some of his problems and his challenges. So in us, citizens should have confidence. In us, citizens should have confidence in the entire public service that we are there for them. And all what we are doing is to see how we can change the life of the common man on the street.
I am afraid we have to leave it there. Thank you so much, Mr. Dasuki Arabi. I know there's so much you want to share with us, but we'll definitely keep our eyes on the Bureau to see how well these reforms are well implemented. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much for having us once more. Wishing you Happy New Year 2023.
Thank you.
And we're hoping that we'll be here at the end of the year to celebrate success of the reforms that we'll be implementing, in addition to the ones that we have done.
Hopefully.
Yes, thank you very much. And we want to thank NTA for this wonderful opportunity, for always being there to work with us, to provide information on our activities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, thank you so much for your input.
I just pray we have 100% paperless, or we go 100% paperless
We're already
by
there.
2030.
Okay.
100%.
All right. We've been talking public service reforms, the gains, the prospect. There's so much hope for Nigerians because the reforms are already looking bright. The whole goal is to see effective implementation, which requires a collective responsibility from you and me. I'm Ruth Aguwele. That's Platform. Bye.